thank you for joining us on yet another interesting edition of the program, The Woman in You. I've got pride, I've got potentials, and I have class, and I'm special. Joy Uche is my name. Welcoming you to the program, The Woman in You. And you know what we do on this program? Each time we come on, we try to inspire you. We let you know the worth of every woman because every woman is wonderful. Every woman is outstanding. Every woman is marvelous, adorable, and nice. And continuously, we should be treated that way, just in case you don't know. Because you know why? We are specially made by God on a very special day. Yes, my womanhood is my pride, as I say often, and I thank you for joining us. Sister, you are 100% that queen you ought to believe in yourself. Yeah, on the program today, we have a wonderful woman as a guest. As you know, we've just celebrated the International Women's Day for this year 2022. All we are still basking in the spirits of that theme, hashtag break the bias. How much are we working as women to actually achieve gender equality? That's what it's all about. As we bring on this wonderful woman today to talk more about her personality and talk about her achievements, tell us about her life story, in a bit, you will know that indeed women are wonderful, wonderfully made, and can achieve just anything they dream about to want to achieve. Like I say always, sister, you're 100% that queen. On our set today, we have Ali Rida, yes, retired worker, retired senior teacher. She's retired from this and retired from that, so she's got a lot that she can give to us today. Ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome Lerida, Mrs. Mercy Ureki. Welcome on board, ma'am. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you today. I've heard of so much things that you do, or have done, and how you retired. So I'm glad sitting here with you today to talk to you. Let's tap into your wealth of experience. Retired at 60,
Yes.
you've got so much to give to us.
Thank you.
Now let's go down memory lane. Let's first and foremost look at your formative years growing up. What was it like?
It was not easy, but at the same time, it was interesting. And at the same time, it gave us the courage to grow as women. As we were growing, we saw ourselves as small girls growing up without any foundation. But because we were determined, we were able to stand up upright and strong. As a girl child among men, it wasn't an easy thing. Her days, our parents were interested sending the male children to school than the female children. I came up from a home that my parents, at least my dad was educated, but my mom was a bit average. So my dad cleverly did his own, did not openly say, you will not go to school. But what they did was that there was no support ever encouraging me
As a girl?
as a girl child. But because I was determined and I had a target and I wanted to be greater than my mom, because my mom was a trader and I was really selling with her. But I looked at myself and I discovered that I was not going to make it from that angle. I must go to school, I must read, I must study. So I struggled. With all odds, I decided to beat them hands down. But at the time, it was like when the male child comes up to ask for anything, there's this express answer. But when you come up as a girl child, there is always this delay, withdrawal, trying to discourage you that you are not going to make it and you are not going to go far. But I was determined and I had to put some things in place. After my secondary school, I was supposed to go to any of the College of Education or higher institution. But I saw the two of them not willing to release me. So I looked at myself and I discovered that I must forge ahead. What I did was to go back to teacher training college because then, as soon as your result is out, you are posted to become a teacher, a grade 2 teacher. So I had to go back. Instead of doing 1 year program with my result, while I was not supposed to be in that college, I did 2 years because it was closer to our own house. So I was not in the boarding house. So I need to leave home for school. So I did. And at the end of the 2 years, I had my result, good result. And I was posted as a teacher. So we started teaching. Then I was not satisfied with that because I had a target and I was going to be a senior teacher, but not a grade 2 teacher. I decided to teach for 1 year. I had to write the entrance exam into College of Education, Ureki, and I got the admission. And I came home again happy, celebrating, thinking I've done something great. And I ran to my father and I told him I've gotten admission. He said, then what do you want to do? You have not taught up for 3 years and you want to go to school again. He said the ministry will not accept it unless you want to abscond. I said, but there's another word more than abscond. That is what I want to do. I don't want to be a grade 2 teacher. I said, okay, let's watch. So I decided to take another fast track again. I know he was not ready to proceed again. What do? I said, okay, I'm going to get married to anybody that is going to send me to school. He said, it's the kind of risks we took. So as the men were coming, wanting my hands for marriage, I would just sit down and throw back this question. I want to go to school. And so many men, they were not interested sending a woman to school. Some of them just left. And my husband came in. So I told him, I said, I want to go to school. I don't want to be a good teacher. He said, okay, I love it. I want you to read because me, I will still go to school too. Wow. So he accepted. And that was the beginning of the marriage. And as soon as he came on board to inform my parents that he was going to marry me, that was the first question my father threw back at him. If you say you are going to marry her, and she says she's going to school, then you send her to school. My husband really accepted and sent me to Ureki. And after my normal 3 years of NC, he sent me back again to school. I went to Uniport where I had my first degree. So you can still build yourself up as a woman. You don't need to look at things around you and give up. Because you have a lot at your hands. I'm the eldest child among 12 children, and I knew I had a large responsibility, and I wanted every other person to be educated. If I'm not educated, I will not be able to pull them. So that's why I was really focused. I used to be a very strong sprinter, sportswoman. I represented Midwest, came back to Bend there. I was strong on track. But I discovered that it was not going to feed me. It was not going to enable me to take care of my younger ones. And when you are into sports, definitely it affects your academics. Because at times we go to Afuze, we spend full term, times we spend 2 terms there, we camp. And when we come back, and if you are not lucky with your principal, you have problems. So I was always having problems with my principals because I was supposed to be in India College or AGGS Ogeli. Well, those 2 schools were special for sports persons. But my father never allowed us to be in boarding house. So I had that problem. So when I looked at it and I discovered that the sports was even giving me stress, I said, no, this track is not going to take me anywhere. I need to sit down, dust my books, and read. And at the end, it became a blessing. At least I got up to the level of the senior teacher, most the vice principal, and I had so many other positions. And at the same time, I went over to the church and I did work there too. As a lay reader, I manned the pulpits to preach. I moved from one diocese to the other to teach. I organized seminars, a lot of teachings, and you discover that we can also talk to our fellow women. I've been able to encourage women. You can make it. If I did, you can start from somewhere. Don't look at the things around you. You will go strong and talk.
Wow.
So that you can build your home and other homes.
Yeah, I can see your determination right from when you were a little girl. Okay. Now you were able to, because you were focused. Let me use that word. You were focused. you were determined to go to school, and that's why you actually achieved and went through or got all the certificates you so desired to get. Now, let's get to know. Well, as growing up, every little girl has a dream. What I want to become tomorrow. I want to be a teacher. I want to be a doctor. What were your dreams as a young girl? Even as focused as you were to want to go to school. What were your
I
dreams?
grew up and I made up my mind that I was going to be a teacher
Wow.
as a baby. And it was funny among my classmates because they know teachers as poor people and they don't make money and they can never be rich. I had a role model, the principal of AGGS, Mrs. Akpokene. When we go out for sports and I see her walk on the corridor, I see the personality, I see her movement, I see the drive. So I really looked at her and I really wanted to be like her. So I just developed that interest of being a teacher. Then later I moved from what really moved me into the teaching profession was a Sunday school. I was in charge of the children in the Sunday school, and from there I discovered that I will be able to manage children, I can teach, I can download, I can also express myself. So I just developed teaching from childhood.
And that's a very good thing because that's your dream and you achieved it.
Yes. So among my mates, so many of them said they were going to be doctors, they were going to be nurses, they were going to be bankers, and at the end, they became teachers. So when I see them, I say, nurse, teacher, what are you doing
What
in
are you doing
profession?
They all be laughing.
That you were the only one that was really sure of what you wanted to be.
Wow, that's
So I
so
loved
nice.
teaching.
That's so good because it's a good thing when you have a dream. Because as a young girl, we all had dreams, what we want to become in life. And say some persons fall off along the way because you're not focused or maybe you're not determined. Especially the issue of going to school. Some are just like, I don't have who is going to help me or pay my schools. Like you were saying, growing up, if you had parents like not encouraging so much, you just might give it up and say, no, I'm not going to school again. But what's saying on this program with you that once you're focused and determined and believe in yourself, she believed in herself, and that's why she was able to achieve all she so desired to want to achieve. Especially, I like that part where you had to tell the man coming, I want to go to school. If you will train me, I'll marry you. That's a very good one. So I want to say kudos to daddy. He did well.
Yes,
he took you and sent you to school. All right, mommy. Let's get to look at those women that actually inspired you while growing up and up until now that you've worked for years and retired. But we know you're not tired.
No.
You keep doing what you know how to do. But then let's look at the women that have inspired your life along the way. From you talked about the HDS principle while you were still, growing up. Now, all through life till you got retired right now, those women that have inspired your life.
I have a long list of women that really encouraged me and I really looked up to, that had to build me up to where I am today. As I was growing up, like I told you, I had a woman that was my friend, older than me. I call her my mommy. She is Mrs. Ujiri. As a small girl, I was always around her. I discussed a lot of things with her. Even when I come midst of my mates, the things I tell them, I don't even think about that when I want to talk to her. I tell her deeper things. So she's the one I even discussed with. I told her I was going to get married so I can live, so that at least I'll go to school and read. That from what I'm seeing from my parents is like, they're not interested in sending a girl child to school. And she encouraged me. If I didn't have her as somebody that stood by me, maybe I would have derailed. So she encouraged me and said, okay, let's wash. And it came to pass. And she was always there for me. Then after that, as I was moving again, I ran into somebody that had to encourage me in my NC days. A friend again just came one day and said, you cannot just sit with your NC. NC shows that you are just at the bottom of the ladder. You need to have a degree. And degree will always make the difference. There's a difference between an NC holder and a degree holder in teaching profession. I say, so you are not saying that we need to go to school again? I say, yes, we need to go to school again, we need to read. It's okay, no problem. So she was the one that went to Uniport. She got the forms and we filled and we left at the same time. And before we knew it, the 4 years was not long again. We got the degree. And when the degree came into our, the credentials and all that we had, we saw the difference. The level changed and everything about it changed. So it was then we had to encourage ourselves again to say, you see, so the degree has even moved us higher. So we left our mates that we all had NC together. And that was a very strong level again. Then I discovered that as a woman, if you don't have God, then you are not complete. Because definitely you're going to run into some problems. So when I got married, though I worked in the church as a small girl, I had to continue with the work of God. So I came into the ministry and I ran into some other persons again that were stronger. This time is a man and is a priest. It was the reverend that had to encourage me, is a venerable in the Anglican communion. He's the one that brought me into the ministry fully. So I think he picked me from where I was seated. I didn't know I had the ministry of teaching. I didn't know I can preach. I didn't know. But he picked me and said, you are a teacher. So because you are a teacher, it's not just reading a lesson, but you need to teach. I said, no, teaching is different from preaching. He said, no, you start with teaching. Then from the teaching, you will know whether you can preach. And I had to sit down on the table, just put my materials together. I came in, I took the first one, and then he was so encouraged. He said, you're going to do well. From there, I started having a series of teaching. Before I knew it, I was sent into the lay reader training school, and I became a lay reader. Before I knew it, I started mounting pupils to teach. As a woman, I was touched. Then in between the ministry again, as a woman worker, I now worked with the bishop's wife. And it was not easy. She gave me the opportunity to serve. And they had almost 2,000 women under me. You need to manage them financially, spiritually. You need to draw programs. You need to do a lot of calculations for movements. You need to do kind of presentation. You need to do accounting. You need to do auditing. Before I knew it, I was running around all the place. I said, wow, I didn't know I had all this in me. So the church brought out a lot of what was inside.
Okay, now let's look at challenges you've been through in life. Because growing up, you had a growing up challenge as it was, within the family, how you needed to go to school, how there was no encouragement and all of that. Up until now that you worked even as a senior teacher, got retired in the church and all, what are those challenges you've been through in life as a woman? And how did you overcome all of it?
I like this question because this question is the one that women outside they need. Like when I teach women, I tell them, I teach and I use myself as an example. I quote passages from the Bible. I also back it up with my own experience so that you will know that apart from the Bible, a woman like you have passed through these pains or experience. Growing up as a child, I had my own problems. It was not as easy as, we thought it was going to be. It was not. You have these difficulties trying to explain things to your parents and to not listen. In our own days, they don't even allow you to talk. It's what they say that you do. But God helping us, we were able to obey all through. We scaled through. Then as we come into marriage is a different life altogether. The first 10 years it was smooth, it was lovely, it was fine. But in between, the devil always coming to find one way or the other. We had some difficulties, rough times. It was not easy. Strange women coming in, wanting to come in and the rest. So it was not easy between me and my husband. God helped us. We called ourselves together and we had to start building again. So I always tell women outside there, don't think because you see me teaching, you think it was a perfect all true. There are times my husband had to look me outside because of the church work. You go to church and you are not a priest and nobody's going to make you a priest as a woman in Anglican communion. What are you looking for? I said, no, but that's the only way you can get to that your spirit is calm and they can always tell you the right thing. Sometimes you lock me out, you tell me I'm not going to come in, maybe 1, 2 hours, you allow me in. But at times I'll be so busy as I come in wanting to rest. That's when he will tell you he wants to eat. I will need to go to the kitchen to start cooking. There are times I will even light my 4 burners. I'm making pepper soup, I'm making melon, I'm cooking a burner, I'm making stew. Because maybe the next morning I have an assignment that I need to carry out. So at times you wake up as early as 4:30 to put everything in place. So it was not easy running the home and at the same time running the ministry. At times your phones are there busy seriously. As you are cooking, you are answering phone calls. As you are moving from one room to the other, you are answering phone calls. Then after some years, he discovered that, well, he had to support me. There's nothing he would do. So he came in and the support was there. But there are times you travel 1 week, before you know, as we are coming back, we're traveling on that 2 days again. So you find him trying to help me to arrange my things. He will say, which suitcase are you going to use this time? Okay, let me try to put some clothes there for you. What are you going to put in there? So as I'm coming back, I'm already calling him to put some things into the next suitcase for me to travel. So the support was there. But I will not tell you it was too smooth. It was not too smooth. Because at times, even at school, they come for inspection and the rest, I will not be there. But God helping me, by the time I come in, when I get to the ministry, there must be somebody that will know me. So when I get there, mommy, what happened? What? I see they came for inspection, I was not there. It's okay, let's go and see the person. By the time we get there, I say, mommy, Ureki, before you know, whatever thing that was done, they will grant me that privilege to overcome. So it was not easy. There are ups and downs. But I tell women there, find out from the next woman how she did it. I had to make sure I had enough food stuff in my house. I will buy everything. Even if it's banga, I will buy. I will pound it. I will wash it and put it in the freezer. Because I can wake up 12 midnight and start making soup. Because you cannot tell your husband because you'll be so busy all through. So you are not going to give him food. There's going to be a problem. And at the time I had to have my washing machine. But at the time I had to wake up at 3 a.m. to start washing. So I discovered that it was stressful. So when I got the idea of washing machine, I bought machine. Then from there, I try to encourage women. Any machine that you know can ease your stress, get it. Don't see it as a waste. Get it. It will help you. Even if it's a microwave and you come in, you just throw your soup or your egg back there. You heat it and you start eating. So the machines around you can also help you to ease the stress. So when you put all this into place, you'll discover that you will solve a lot of problems. Then don't be selfish. Make sure your money flows in the house. Because if they don't see your money and you are not there for them, there's definitely going to be crisis. You help the family to pay some bills. You help them to solve some problems. Anytime you are around, do your best. Like my principals will always say that you cannot hold Mrs. Ureki. Why? When I'm around, I work hard. I go to my class. I make sure my children are involved in whatever thing I'm doing. I keep them busy. So when I want to obtain permission, they don't find it difficult to grant the permission. So most times, you discover that you cannot hold me wanting with the help of God.
Okay, now you have actually enumerated a lot of, marital challenges, I should call it, how to really handle all of that. Because really, there are some women that think of how to balance career and manage the home. I think you have taken care of that with all you have just said right now. Managing whatever you do as a career, whatever you're pursuing, maybe you're a preacher as well, you work in the government or whatever, a businesswoman, you can actually manage your career or whatever you're doing, your business, and the home front successfully. That's just what she's talked about right now. If you put a lot of things into consideration, then there will be problems here or there. Now, Mom, let's look at the issue of women being properly placed in our society. You know, these days, way back, a lot of women don't go to school, like we said. We had parents that didn't believe in sending the girl child to school. But these days, we've got a lot of qualified women, educated, beautiful, yes. But the society we live in does not allow them to emerge. So, what do you think can be done to allow women to be better placed? We have just celebrated International Women's Day. Again, we do it every year. And this time around, we're talking about breaking the bias, gender inequality. So that's what we're talking about. How can women be better placed in a society like ours?
One, we need to really love ourselves because that's one problem we have as women. We don't love ourselves. And let me start by telling you that if a woman comes out that she wants to run for a political position, we will prefer to vote for the man who decides to stay away from the woman. So it shows that we don't love ourselves. So by the time we love ourselves, the unity will be there, the bond will be there, we'll tie ourselves together, and the force will be there, and we'll come out with one voice. So let us have one voice. Let us push one person. Let us not wait that, if it's not me, it cannot be the other person. No. As long as we know that the person that we want to push is strong enough, we should all team up and say, this is the person we want. And we'll stand behind that person. And before you know it, the person will skate through. That's one problem. Two, we run down ourselves. We run down ourselves. Men don't do that. Men, they fight for themselves. When they discover that the battle is between a man and a woman, they go back to tell themselves, we cannot allow a woman to have this position. Let us not tell the women how bad this man is. We need to cover up this man to push him into that position. Where is this woman going? But with the women will go behind to say, which woman? No, this woman, she has done this, this has happened, don't vote for her. If you put her there, she's not going to remember you, she's not going to do this, we'll run down that person. Instead of allowing the person to have that position, then later we can build on the attitude or character of that person and tell the woman, we sent you there to see what we're expecting. Then we too will look down on ourselves. We give up easily. A position is meant for a woman. Hey, it has not happened though. A woman, no, don't go there, the men will not allow you. No. We had an experience of recent. We went for a burial back home. And a very long time I didn't know that this thing exists. I know when I was growing up it was there. When you enter into some churches, Anglican churches or Catholic, the men sit on one side while the women sit on one side. So we were opportune to sit with the men, two of us. The men, they were driving us. I told them, oh God, you cannot drive us because we are in the church. I'm free to sit anywhere I want to sit. And if you are a man, that does not mean you should drive the women. I'm comfortable sitting with you, so don't worry. Today, we'll have visitors, so we'll sit on this side. Can you imagine that? But some women will give up and they will run away. We did not run. The two of us were sat there. They were not comfortable. They were restless. We did not even answer them. At the end, we were the ones that gave them programs. But you know, where you have men and women, as the men are coming, they prefer to settle the women first. They say women first, so they gave us. When they gave us, we said, please give to us so that we'll give to these men sitting by us. They started laughing. I said, we just try to embrace women. So at times we'll run down ourselves. Then financially, we are not strong. That's a major problem. We don't have enough finance to push ourselves. We have made up our mind that money is meant for a man. So most times men make more money, and it's not good for a woman to have money. If we see women that want to make money, we encourage them to make money. But all we say is that money should not make you run down your husband or look down on men, because our society does not accept that. So we are not financially strong enough to sponsor or to push ourselves. So we are crying and saying, if you have women that have enough money and you cannot run, pick somebody and sponsor the person, like the men do. The political people you are saying, not all of them have money. There's some persons have enough money to push those ones ahead. So we are looking for women that have money that can push the ones that are interested in political appointments. Then we look at appointment ministry or this. Most times they look down on us that very soon we'll go on maternity leave. Very soon she'll be pregnant. And when she's pregnant, she will not be able to walk. She will not be able to do this. Why don't you allow us to walk till we get pregnant? Then when we get pregnant, then you now will be able to cross that river. But just because you see a woman, no, very soon, no. That is another big problem. So when we cry out as women, we say, please allow us to perform first. Then when we are not strong enough, you have reason to say, okay, you can go on leave. A pregnant woman can go on leave. After the pregnancy, she can go on maternity leave. And when she comes back strong again. Then you find some women, even when they're pregnant, they're strong. So such women should be allowed to stay till they're 9 months. And when they want to give birth, they go on maternity leave and they walk all through. So you find that all these things holding us, why you find the last group at the bottom, there is no need going to school because we don't have jobs. No matter how much you have and you are not educated, you are nobody in the society. So we encourage the ones down the ladder, go to school. You can put your certificate in the front of your shop. When people come in and they see that you are a graduate and you are selling, they will respect you the more. If you are a mechanic as a woman and they see that you are doing well, they say, oh, no wonder she went to school. That's why she's really doing well. So we want to encourage ourselves. We want to say, stand up and stand upright. What a man can do like this, a woman can do it better. Because we are home builders, we decorate and we add things to our thing, whatever thing we are doing. I had a message from a pastor of recent. He said we're always having a backup. We are women that have backup. Even when you give a thing to a man, the man does it straight. But when you give it to a woman, there's always this backup from a woman. The woman will add. The thing must have branches. The thing must have colors. The thing must have design. The woman must change that thing that is supposed to be straight. You find that the woman adds beauty to it. So if we use that force to encourage ourselves, if I'm sitting in an office and I'm given an opportunity as a woman, I should be able to employ 5 women and one man, because men, they are stronger. But most times we run down women. No, we'll come and quarrel. They will make up here, they will make noise. Why don't you employ them and teach them and encourage them and really educate them? And before you know, you're all over the place. Wow. So one is for us to tie ourselves together to build a force.
Okay.
It's only then we can see.
You agree with me that a lot of us women, like you said, we run down ourselves. And another thing we have as a problem, not liking ourselves, not loving ourselves, which you talked about. If we can really love ourselves and, inspire one another, we will have a voice, and then we will indeed have a gender equality that we are craving for in this life as we mark another International Women's Day.